What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. It has been a minute. I'm glad to see everybody. Thank you all for patiently waiting here in the chat as well. You know how we usually like to do it. Just give a couple minutes for everybody to roll in. And I am excited for another stream. It's been a minute. Definitely excited. And, the great thing, first and foremost, before we even get started, I'm going to advertise the Discord group a little bit because during times like these, just in case you guys don't know, I was sick for about 2 full weeks. So on about May 4th, I think it was, I went on vacation for a week. And right before that, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe I should live stream because I'm going to be gone for a whole week. And who knows, like maybe I'll get back and I just won't be able to live stream for a day or two. You never know. And I don't usually like to go more than, a couple days, but I said, you know what, it'll be fine. As soon as I get back, I'll just get back to it. Well, that did not work out. I ended up going away May 4th, got back on the 11th, and, went to a theme park and ended up contracting the lovely virus, good old COVID. And, at first I was fine, but it got to a point where I really just couldn't stream. I had a bad migraine for a couple days. I couldn't even look at the charts, look at my phone. And then after that, really up until about 2 days ago, I really couldn't even talk without having a coughing attack. So unfortunately, guys, that's why I haven't been here for the last 3 weeks. It was 1 week of vacation plus 2 weeks of COVID. So, but, I have a slight lingering cough. I'm definitely over it at this point. Not contagious either, so that's nice. I don't feel sick anymore, but if I cough here or there throughout the stream, just know that's why. It's because just the lingering effect of just a little tickle in my throat. But I'm good, and I'm glad to be back, guys, and we have a whole lot to talk about, so I am definitely excited to get into that. Now, what I wanted to say was, before we even get into the meat of the content here, the Discord group and following me on Twitter, two really important things, and I would strongly recommend you do both of those. To join the Discord group, it is free to get updates from me. I mean, it's not going to be, it is usually a membership only type thing. So if you want to be in there and like ask questions directly to myself at pretty much any time of the day and get my opinions on stuff and the opinions of others that are in the group, we have some other experienced members in there that have been trading for a while. That's membership, but you can click the link in the description and join the Discord group completely for free with read-only permission. So you can read the chat, you can see all my notifications. If I'm throwing out buy or sell signals, you can get that straight from the Discord group without having to pay anything. So I think that's worth it, and is really, really worth it during times when I'm not able to stream, like over these last 3 weeks. So we've been in that group talking pretty much every single day throughout the day, and we've been figuring stuff out. We've been making different money making plays. We caught a nice chunk of profit on Luna. We also warned each other when the price was about to go down. Like, it's a good place to be. And if you don't have Discord, I would strongly consider installing it and then joining the group. But if you don't want to do that, you can of course follow me on Twitter. Link for my Twitter is also in the description. So there we go. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Definitely valuable. And I'm going to be strongly promoting it from now on because I think it's worth it. So that's pretty much it, guys. Let's go ahead and get to the stream. We've got a lot of things to talk about, guys. As you can see by the title, Crypto Winter. Now, I don't like, what I usually try to do is avoid waiting until things happening and being like, I told you so, right? Because a lot of times people can try and manipulate those kind of situations just to make themselves like look smart. Like, hey guys, I said this was going to happen, and really they didn't. Okay. So what I typically like to do is go back and give some proof to just kind of validate, especially being a smaller content creator and a smaller YouTuber, a lesser known name, on this channel, guys. All I do is speak the truth. Okay. And in a lot of ways that can kind of hinder the growth of the channel because sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. A lot of times, especially in trading, whether that's the stock market or the crypto market, people like to feel good more than anything. And so they'll go to feel good channels. To the moon this, to the moon that, we're going up, we're going up, we're going up. No matter what the situation, buy, 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 never sell, be bullish, and being bearish is a sin, right? That kind of content, it makes people feel good. People tend to gravitate to it, along with clickbait and a whole lot of other things that I don't generally do. On this channel specifically, we only talk about what the truth is going to be, whether it feels good or feels bad, because really all I'm doing, I'm an experienced trader. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, and started in the stock market and then moved over to crypto as that started to get popular. I'm just sharing my experience and telling the truth. If I think something's going to crash, even if it's a project like Dogecoin or Ethereum or something that I like, I'm going to say, guys, probably not the best time to buy it. Or I'm going to say, hey guys, I'm no longer a fan of this project. Like, I have nothing to prove. I'm just sharing my thoughts. So anyway, excuse me. This was a tweet from May 5th. And this is kind of when I let everybody know, hey guys, bit of a crypto winter warning. We need to get a clean bounce here and not go under. As you could see, we were sitting at about Bitcoin 36,000. And let me see if I still have the drawings here. I think I actually deleted my drawings, but let's see. Okay, so I did, I guess, end up deleting the drawings that no longer applied. But I'm sure you guys know, if you were in my previous streams, I had these trend channels drawn out here that were extremely important for the... Oh, this looks a little cluttered. Let me hide these indicators here. I had these trend channels drawn out that were extremely important. And what they did was they indicated an uptrend that we had going on. And let me see if I can find it again. Actually, the best indicator to use here is going to be the... what is it? Is it the extended one? Yeah, there we go. So let's do another one. So that was the resistance, and then you just kind of mirror that on the bottom side. Going something along these lines. And this is what we had at the time, all right? So this was the trend channel that we were really observing right about here. And so as you could see, over this course of time, and this is going from right here is December of 2020, you could see we broke above this line. We kind of found support near it. We went all the way up to here, pulled back to here, moved all the way up to here, and now we've got 2 highs, and then we pulled back, and now we've got 2 lows. So we've got a channel that ended up forming here. And this gave us a support and resistance on an uptrend. Now, what you want to see in those circumstances is the trend not get broken. And if that trend gets broken, if it breaks to the upside, that signifies even stronger bullish movement. And if it breaks to the downside, that can indicate a reversal of this uptrend, and that now the uptrend that we had is broken, and now we could be starting a downtrend and you know, head into a pullback. What I also did was I drew out this massive dip zone here of where I thought the price could potentially stop short term. And as you can see, we broke out the bottom of the trend channel. Bad news was signified, and then we did get a bounce right there at the top of the box. Now, this is not rocket science, and again, guys, I did draw this before it happened, not after. All right, so there is that. It was legitimate, but all this was from is looking at some very, very basic pieces of information. And before I really get into what I think is going to happen next, I always want to be informative during these streams and help people see what I'm seeing. And so I'm just going to show you what I typically look at. So if we delete all of my horizontal support and resistance lines that are just based off of price levels, here's all you have to do. And I'll even delete these trend channels for now and this box. Let's get rid of literally everything. All you have to do, indicators. The most commonly used indicator is the EMA, the exponential moving average indicator. And what that does is it averages out the average price of a period of time, depending on what time frame that you're using, and it shows you an area, like what is the area of value, what have people, you know, people have bought high, people have sold low, and people have bought low and sold high, but what tends to be like the average price where people feel comfortable at. and you end up getting like a support from that or a resistance, just depending on which side of it that we're at. So if I flip on the EMA indicator, I've got 3 different time periods. The most important one's the 200, which averages out the longest amount of time, 200 period moving average. And then I've got some shorter term moving averages that are also important, but not super short term. So aside from the 200, I have the 100 and the 50. 200, again, most important and holds the most weight, but then you can get some secondary and third levels from the 100, and then some third levels from the secondary from the 100, third from the 50. And all you have to do, so if you look here, you could see we fell below the 200 EMA here, and the 100 and the 50. Where's our potential next levels of support? Well, if you can't find any on that time frame, just change your time frame and look for some different levels. But generally, you're going to want to go higher, not lower, to find time frames if possible. You're going to want to go higher if anything. So I'm moving from 4 hour to the daily. I can see on the daily, there's nothing below us. The EMAs are above us. If we keep going down, are there any supports below us on a different time frame? All right, so now I move to the weekly, and here you can see the 200 EMA on the weekly time frame sits here at 27,000. And that is exactly where our rejection wick hit and bounced up from. So people saw that as an area of value. Well, now what's the question? Well, what if we go under 27,000? Oh, well, I don't have an EMA here. So what could I do? Maybe I'll go up one more to the monthly, and now I have 2 more levels here that are drawn out for me. I can see now on the weekly time frame, the 200 EMA was at 27,000, but on the monthly, the 50 EMA is at 27,000, and then the 100's at 16, and the 200 is at about 10. So that gives me 2 more levels to look at. Now, obviously, these are big jumps, but these are extremely strong key levels of support. And so that gives you a good idea of like worst case scenario, this is probably where we'll stop next. And then worst case scenario, this is where we'll stop after that. Hey, what's going on, Artful? You didn't miss really anything yet. I just explained that I was out for 3 weeks because of vacation. And then immediately after, I got COVID when I got back, and I'm only just recently recovering. And now I'm just explaining how I look at the charts using the EMA. That's pretty much it. And then, guys, I will read all of your comments here in just a moment. I just wanted to get the stream started. So, yeah, basically that's where we're sitting, guys. And just moving back along to the daily time frame, this is what happened. I mean, we got plenty of bullish movement on Bitcoin, as we should have in 2020. We made it all the way up to 64,000. A strong pullback all the way down to 29,000. We know this was Elon Musk and Tesla getting rid of Bitcoin. And saying that they weren't going to accept this payment because it was dirty money, the energy. And then China banning lots of FUD. Then we finally started to recover here off of good news, and this ended up being a rumor that Bitcoin was going to be accepted by Amazon, but that's what got us out of the hole. And then from there, everybody's like, all right, well, that was like a triple bottom anyway, right? So people started buying it up. Then we hit 70,000. People got super bullish. People were thinking, oh yeah, this is November of 2021. We're heading to 100K and beyond. And then we didn't. Bad things continued to happen, and we sold off. And now we're making even lower lows than we made the first time. So here's where we sit. And there's a couple problems here that I want to quickly identify for you guys. And then there's a couple reasons why maybe you shouldn't be so bearish also. So if you take a look here on the daily time frame, you can see right here that a head and shoulders formation actually formed. Here was shoulder 1, pull back to about 42K. Then we made the head here, up here in this 70,000 area. We pulled back to 42K, and then we made another shoulder right here. That was kind of the initial warning sign. Once we didn't pass this high and we headed right back down and got to like here and then here, this was the warning sign that this was probably overall like a head and shoulders idea, and that bad things were going to happen. And then as you can see, we finished the downtrend and we came down kind of towards where that first shoulder was. I'm sorry, where that arm or that hand of the, this is the shoulder, this is the head, this is like the wrist, I guess. So yeah, once we start making new lows here, we're like, all right, this is a downtrend. This isn't going to be good. We could probably see prices move down back towards this 30,000 area. and maybe even back down to where it started, which was about 29, 28K, depending on where you're looking at these little wicks here. But then a new problem came about because we started to recover a bit. We made it up to 48. Cool, nice bounce. But then we sold off super hard, and we just kept rejecting and rejecting and rejecting and rejecting. And then we got down to 25,000, guys. And this is actually a little bit concerning here. Now, there's a positive and a downside to what's happening right now. We're on the daily time frame, as you can see. And as you can see, many days right now have we spent in this consolidation right here. Yes, thank you, Rick. Smash that like button. I do appreciate it. Everybody, don't forget, there's 14 of you in the stream right now. We've got 6 likes. That means there's about, 8 people that could contribute to that like button, so I would appreciate it. As you can see, though, look at all these candles on the daily time frame. Each candle represents a day. This is how many days we've spent consolidating, making pretty much no progress, bouncing between 28,500 and 31,000 here. 28 to 31 to 28 to 31, getting stuck in this zone. What's important to know is that this is a consolidation triangle. And what that indicates is this is the consolidation before a next significant move happens. And if you know anything about technical analysis, you already knew that. But anyway, this is indicating that, as you can see, I'm trying not to repeat myself. This is the little flag that's forming right here. And as you can see, the prices, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and it's getting squoze into this triangle formation. And at some point during one of these days, the price is going to have to make a decision because it's consolidating. People don't know, like, am I buying the dip here, like, or am I buying high because we're going to crash? And that's usually what ends up happening. There's a lot of indecision. People don't feel confident, and so they're waiting for a sign on what's to happen next. So you've got people buying what they think is the dip, and then you've got people selling what they think is probably going to be the top. And then people start getting more and more confused about, all right, well, is this like the bottom, or is this the top? Are we going here, or are we going there? And so people start buying higher, selling lower, higher, lower, higher, lower, higher, lower. And then it gets to this point where we're at a point here where it's like, all right, guys, well, are we going up or down? Like, what's our sign? And depending on which side of this triangle we break out of is usually going to be the answer. Now, there are little fake outs that happen sometimes where we get like a move out, and then it stalls out and it comes back down, and then it ends up selling off, and vice versa. But typically, what's most important is just which direction are we going to break out first. And so that's what we have to wait and see. Which direction are we going to break out of? And you can see here, moving over about 31,000 here is probably going to signify that we're moving, that our uptrend is what's next, and we're not going to go down any lower. But if we break out of the bottom of this triangle and we start going under, like, back into 28,000s, especially low 28,000s to where we're at the bottom here, it's going to look really, really bad for us. And then all we've got here to really hope is that, maybe we find support at this little bottom here, that this rejection wick from like a week ago at about 27.7. And then if it doesn't, we don't really have anything below us until we head back down to the previous low of 25. And if that doesn't hold, well, let me zoom out for reference. Yeah, timber, guys. That's pretty much all I have to say there, because there's no other support. And really, this wick and this wick here aren't really support either. The only thing that's kind of in our favor is if you look back horizontally, back towards last year, there's lots of support here from when we made that like triple bottom here at right around this 29,000 and high 28 level. So we could find support again, maybe at the lowest, like right about here. But if we're messing around in this triangle, we break below that line and then break out of the triangle, and especially if we don't hold here, it's pretty much over. So yeah, there's that. So let me read a couple questions, guys, and then I want to continue talking about my expectations for Bitcoin, despite the technical analysis, because we know that that's actually the least important part of it all. What's more important is the fundamental analysis and the social sentiment check. how do people feel about Bitcoin? How do people feel about crypto? And then I also want to talk about Luna and how there's potential massive money making play that is going to expire within the next 2 days. So it's important that you guys stick around and pay attention to what I'm about to say there. But we'll get there. So just kind of starting from the top of the comments. Let me see. All right, so what's going on, Rafi? Again, thanks for the support. Good to see you, Rick. And again, thanks for the continued support of the channel. You can see Rick is a member of the channel. I do appreciate it. Helps out a lot. And yeah, long time no see. Definitely glad to be back. Rafi said he knows I have some stuff lined up, but he has some questions. Wants me to talk about Bitcoin adoption slowly growing and how it's going to be affected going forward, in my opinion. And do I see it as a world reserve currency as the end game? What's my thoughts there? Great question. Then he asks, how low do I see Bitcoin dropping as we proceed into this bear market? He has some cash sitting aside. He wants to keep there besides DCAing and hopes it drops some more. And what are my thoughts? Okay, great question there as well. And then what's my thoughts on Ethereum's future after they go proof of stake? Really good questions. Chosen, what's going on? Thank you for the support as well and supporting the stream. Chosen says, I think Bitcoin has already hit the bottom. 28.6 is as low as you're going to get it. Yeah, it's definitely been a while. Yeah, I had to take a break from crypto. I understand, guys. I'll take a quick pause here just to say, take breaks. It's very important that you take breaks from cryptocurrency and the stock market. Like, unless you are fully committed to being, like, as a job, being a day trader and making trades every single day to pay your bills, just don't look at the charts every day. There's really no point. And when things start getting sour and like you're starting to get uncomfortable and you're starting to feel in your stomach, that bit of discomfort, and you're like, oh man, the price is going down. I'm starting to feel like I should panic sell. If you truly believe in your project, just close your app, honestly, because unless you need that money to pay a bill, in which case you're going to sell regardless because you need to cash out, all looking at the chart's going to do is make you uncomfortable, and it's going to make you do something that you probably shouldn't do. So what I like to do as well, like when I know the market's stale and it's just moving sideways and I just see little fluctuations and I see my account go a little red or a little green, and I get excited when it hits the green and I want to like sell, or I get fearful when it hits the red and I start to panic and I'm like, oh well, should I panic sell or should I buy the dip? Just close your app and do nothing and maybe come back the next day or something. Over trading is the fastest way to lose all of your money. And I can't emphasize that enough. And you really learn that harsh lesson when you start trading. If you get involved with leverage at all, leveraged trades, over trading is the fastest way to go bankrupt. Less is absolutely more when it comes to trading. Literally, you could buy at one point and not do anything and come back a year later, and you will probably have more money than someone who tries to trade the highs and the lows every day or every week. Because when you do that, you expose yourself to so much room for error, because you have to deal with your own flaws, like human nature. You have to deal with your emotions, and you have to trade like a robot. And if you can't do it every time, you're going to mess up. So literally buy, close your app, come back, buy a dip, close your app, and just try not to touch it. That's your best bet. But I do give input on where I think the buy levels are and whether or not I think, we're at a buy the dip and just hold level, or like maybe sell and buy much later. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And what's going on to Daniel? Again, big thanks to you for being a member of the channel as well and always showing up. I do appreciate that. And what's going on, El Bosch? Good to see you again. And of course, Artful. Had to make sure that you got here. I got a little nervous when I didn't see you liking the usual tweets. But I directly tweeted you to make sure. Let's see. Has Doge died? Ooh, there's a good question. You guys might not like my answer, but I will answer that question. What's happening on Friday? Doge Tesla analysis. Yep, like button. Are we in a bull market or bear market? Is Twitter deal dead? Man, great questions. What's going on, Toby? Yeah, notifications. I think I'm like shadow banned on YouTube or something. People have not been getting my live stream notifications for months. That's why I started the stream early today, even before I was on, just hoping like notifications would go out. But yeah, guys, if you want to be like in the loop for these live streams, please follow me on Twitter. I always will tweet out a going live notification there. It is way more reliable than YouTube. All right, I'm almost at the end of the questions here, so bear with me, guys. Ryan says, I see a bear market until 2024 at least. It's possible. Right around when the next halving hits. Chosen says, I have almost a full head of gray hair just because I was so obsessed with crypto last year. Breaks are very important. Exactly. Someone on a news channel said a bear market is when a stock or asset loses 20% of its latest high. I said she hasn't even seen a crypto bear market. Yeah, imagine. Yeah. Little does she know. Buy, turn the app off till I buy more, never sell. There you go. Have a plan, stick to it, and just do not overtrade. That I cannot stress that enough, guys. If you want to be profitable, just stop trading. So let's address some of these questions here. There were so many. I got to get my order back here. Let's start with Rafi's question regarding Bitcoin adoption slowly growing, how it's going to be affected going forward in my view, and where it sits as a world reserve currency. Now, with my answer to this question, I might actually answer a couple more of your questions unintentionally. We'll see. So at this point in time, the crypto market's definitely getting shaken up. And that's largely because of the situation with Luna. That really has people, in my opinion, thinking long and hard. Even myself, I've started to think a little bit, and that's how I know, someone who's typically like myself, pretty confident in technology. I'm usually one of the last people to get shaken up or uncomfortable about something. So if I start to get uncomfortable about a technology and I start to question things, then I know the everyday person that doesn't have my level of confidence, or the everyday person that's not tech savvy, or that was already skeptical regarding cryptocurrency, when they see things like this, they're going to get, they're probably feeling what I feel 5 to 10 to 20x. So Bitcoin, the nice thing about Bitcoin, all right, so there's a couple different ways to consider this. First, let's go to just coinmarketcap.com so I can get my thoughts together. So as we know, Bitcoin's the market leader. Bitcoin's the big dog. Bitcoin is the crypto, just the leader of cryptocurrency. It was like the first one here. I believe it was the first cryptocurrency, period. I won't get into the technicalities if that's wrong, but for all intents and purposes, Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, at least the first one people cared about. And the way that it's set up, I mean, there's no interference with its operation. Everyone's super confident in the way that it's going to operate over the next couple years. There's a set plan. It's all pretty much written in stone, and it can't be touched unless you make a fork. And we've seen what happened when people try to make forks of Bitcoin. Like, they just aren't as popular, like Bitcoin Cash, so on and so forth. But Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, is like solidified as the cryptocurrency. It is like the definition of cryptocurrency. All of these other projects use the concept that Bitcoin was established on, which is, the concept of blockchain and decentralized finance, and they try to accomplish different things. There's very few projects in the decentralized finance space that utilize blockchain that try to do what Bitcoin does. The only ones that are close are things like, XRP and Dogecoin. And even they don't do it the same way. Bitcoin is really set up to be not only like a store of value, where its only purpose is to represent like a dollar amount and be like a digital version of gold, like a virtual asset, but to increase in value over time, because the way it's set up with the mining and the halving events and, just the scarcity and it being more difficult to obtain, the more of it you find, like the less of it that remains and the harder it is to find the remains, just like if you were mining gold, same concept. So for multiple reasons, Bitcoin is set up not only to be super trustworthy in the way it's written and programmed, but it's trustworthy because it was the first one here. It's trustworthy because everyone's known about it the longest, and it's trustworthy because everyone trusts it, right? So just because Bitcoin is already the big dog, people tend to trust it because it's the big dog. You know, it kind of has that effect on itself. And then also, you know, there's the potential to make money because of the halvings and how it's supposed to be more valuable over time. So there's just so many reasons why Bitcoin is the market leader. Because of that, when people look at the opportunity to get into cryptocurrency, they just naturally look at Bitcoin and they're like, well, obviously that one is going to be the safest and it's going to make me money. So if I'm a big money company, if I'm an institutional investor, anything like that, like Bitcoin's going to be the one that I feel comfortable jumping into. And then if you're talking about countries as well, I mean, Bitcoin's going to be the cryptocurrency that you're going to feel comfortable investing in because of all those reasons I just stated: the stability, the potential money making, and you know, the trust that everyone else already has in it, and that just spreads. Don't forget, click that like button, guys. I do appreciate it if you haven't clicked it already. If you're on mobile, just tap your screen and the like button will pop up actually there on the screen next to the like scrub bar. I do appreciate it. So yeah, for those reasons, Bitcoin's super solid and like a staple in the cryptocurrency space. Do I see it as a world reserve currency? Yes, I do. At this point, Bitcoin is being adopted by just so many different people and countries already. Like, it doesn't matter who you're talking to at this point. Now, if we are talking about like a year and a half ago, you could probably go down the street, ask everybody you saw, do you know about Bitcoin? I'd say 75% would say no, 25% would say yes, or something like that. At this point, you walk down the street just a year and a half later, ask anybody, and it's probably going to be something like 90 or 95% say, yes, I've at least heard of Bitcoin, even if they don't fully understand it like we do. And then there's going to be a very small amount of people that have never heard, at least heard, the word Bitcoin. So for that reason, like, it's already becoming a household name. It doesn't matter if you're young or you're old. It doesn't matter if you're just an average person that has a lot of time on their hands, or you're a celebrity, right, that you get shielded from a lot of stuff and you don't have a lot of free time. Like, it doesn't matter. We've got the average Joe is investing in Bitcoin. Celebrities are investing in Bitcoin. There's also athletes that are opting into getting paid in Bitcoin instead of in cash. And now we've got governments, large corporations, and countries that are saying, you know, like El Salvador, saying we're making Bitcoin a legal tender. Like, you can get paid in cash or you can get paid in Bitcoin, and everybody, like, if you're a business, you need to treat Bitcoin as cash. So do I see at this point, at this rate, Bitcoin becoming also like a world reserve currency? Yes. And I think that's really the idea when these countries are really even considering putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, is that they see that kind of angle as well, and they think it might benefit them, because a lot of countries don't have a super strong native currency, like compared to the US dollar or other countries' currency. So Bitcoin's kind of a little workaround for them. So yes, at this point, at this rate, that is the goal of Bitcoin. And I don't think that Bitcoin, because of the recent happenings, is getting knocked off track to reach that goal. Now, that was a long intro because it'll make answering the next couple questions way easier. And yeah, I think in game it will still play out well, but I think we're going to experience some things here short term that might make people a little bit uncomfortable because of all the uncertainty. How low do I see Bitcoin dropping as we proceed into this bear market? Because I have some cash and he wants to DCA in. And what's my thoughts on ETH after proof of stake? So here's the thing. People have been calling. Now, we get into these swings where the bullish people end up in control of the price action, and the bears end up in control of the price action. And we tend to refer to them as bull markets and bear markets. But that's basically when we head into a certain price area, and then the overall sentiment shifts into that group's favor, and then things just start to happen to where, like, it continues on that track. Because, like, if we had bulls that thought we were going to 80K, obviously once we get to 60, 65, 70, those bulls are going to be more bullish than ever. They have no reason not to be because they're already on track. Why would you suddenly think, oh, yeah, we're going to end up at 29. That doesn't make much sense, right? And then the bears also are feeling like they're getting proven wrong. So they're probably at this point just saying, you know what? Well, maybe I was wrong. I'm going to buy. So this, I mean, that's how you get this bull market. But then once you switch to the other side, the opposite thing happens. The bears are in control. They're bearish. They've been thinking for a while, we're going to get this dip. It's starting to play out. They're saying, I told you so. And the bulls now aren't feeling so confident. So maybe they're selling their positions or they're not doing anything. You know, they're just sitting on their hands, not buying because they don't know if this is the bottom, or they're shorting. You never know. Just to make some money back. So it's very, very possible, since we're in what's clearly a bearish scenario, that we could see lower lows here. I mean, if I'm looking at this just with no bias whatsoever, and I'm not thinking to myself, this is Bitcoin, it's deflationary, and there's going to be halving events that are going to make the value of it go up in 2 years. If I'm just looking at this as a chart, no other things considered, I'm genuinely concerned, because if we just as much as break out the bottom side of this triangle, like this is literally our only hope. The bullish angle here is we oversold due to this rejection wick, signified in overselling. We recovered. Now we're consolidating, and we're doing a little curve here, and we're going to start to head back up. That's going to save us. But if we don't, and we break out the bottom side, I think we're going to, that's just going to be it. And we're going to head right back down to 25, and then we're going to make some new lows here and get into uncomfortable territory. Now, if that happens, where do I see us stopping? So that's a good question. Now, the first obvious spot, I would say, because if you just zoom all the way out here, like even go weekly, you see there's no major levels of support except for this one here at 20,000, because that's where in 2017 on that initial bull run, that's where it stopped at, right? And then we pulled back 3 years later. We came back, made a bull run, and this was where it consolidated at that point, which now serves as resistance. So now we've got 2 touches here, which makes this an established level. So I'm going to put a line of strong support right at 20,000. So now you're starting to see this chart start to get kind of fleshed out here. I'll zoom back out on the daily, right? So if we fall under this 25,000 area, I think the key level we could look at and safely say, well, this would probably be the bottom of the bottom, would be right around that 20,000 level. I don't really think we're going to go below 20,000, even though it's possible. I think if anything, we'd come to like 20, maybe reject in the high 19s, and then bounce out, consolidate, and head back up. That would be my guess. But as you can see here, if we're looking for a potential stopping point right before that, you can see right here, there was a little bit of consolidation in this 22 to 24-ish, 25,000 area. So that could be an initial stopping point, somewhere right like here. Right, so it could catch some people off guard. We could just break below here, bounce off here, and then head up. But more realistically, I think a full clean sell-off to 20, get the bearishness out of the way. All the people that are feeling negative, like just let them have their sell, let them buy their dip, and let's flip them from bearish to bullish, right? Because if they were bearish saying, oh, 20K is coming, 20K is coming, I'm sitting my money on the sidelines for 20K, well, they'll be bulls at 20K, even though they're bearish at 30. So that's usually the best way for it to go. Get all the bears out, let them, do nothing here, hold their money, get to their price target, and then let them feel comfortable buying. So now we have the bears turning into bulls with the bulls, and now you've got strong buying pressure, which is usually going to be enough to propel you out and into the clear, because now everyone feels comfortable, right? You're not leaving anyone out. So that's my guess. I think 20K, very possible, but it's going to depend on just what happens here with this consolidation. And I can't really predict what that's going to be. Other than that, though, if I pull up the EMA and MA indicators here, I mean, it kind of calls for kind of similar things. 22K, right around that consolidation level that I pointed out here on the daily time frame, that could be a spot. It's saying right there around 22K. And then it's also saying, well, that's pretty much it there. From the monthly perspective, it's also saying right around 21K. So I'd say 20 to 22K is probably a safe bottom. If it goes under that though, I mean, we're looking at like 15, 16. And yeah, I mean, we could be at a bottom here right now. You could see we've been bouncing a lot between 28 and 30. But that actually just makes me more uncomfortable than anything. I know some of you right now are probably feeling like, and you know, just looking at the chart, it's definitely not impossible to say that we've hit a bottom. But just what I don't like is just the big picture. I don't like that we already went to 64. We already had a sell-off that should have made all the bears buy, right? All the bearish people, if we went low enough, the bears should have felt bullish enough to buy the dip and hold us above that price. But the fact that we made a new high and then we sell off so much that we make a new low and we go back below this, that's what concerns me, number one. And then the fact that after that, I mean, we move up like 2K and we can't even get out of this area for like a week. We keep bouncing in between these super low levels of 28 to 30. That's what makes me uncomfortable, honestly. This move right here is what makes me uncomfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if we go up, but this to me is just bearish. Even though this looks bullish right here, this whole idea, like if you think about what's happening, is kind of weird. Like, why are we still bearish at 28,000? Shouldn't people feel like this is the bottom? And if they do, they should be buying, but they're not buying. Why are they not buying? Why is big money not buying? So we're either going to see whale buys kick in all at once and launch us out of here, and everybody, you know, missed the show, or they're not buying because we're about to crash. And I'm kind of leaning towards things getting worse first, but we'll see. We'll see. At this time, though, I mean, this is like a crypto winter because people have gotten so uncomfortable that the altcoins are just getting absolutely punished. And if you look at our lovely projects here, Ethereum is under 2,000. That's so cheap. Ethereum last year was at about what, 4,800, and it looked like it was going to head to 5 and 6 pretty soon. And now Ethereum is back under 2K. Our beloved Dogecoin, guys, it's at 8 cents. It is at 8 cents, and we're sitting at Bitcoin 29,000. That's actually not very good. Solana, which was just up there, I mean, Solana was pretty high not long ago. If we just take a look at the chart for Solana, look at the high. Solana was all the way up to $260. Now it's $48 per token. I mean, that is just absolute insane sell-off there. And that was just going back to October, where it was like 5x where it is right now. That's crazy. Cardano is 51 cents. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last year people were calling for Cardano to $5, right? That was the idea. Cardano was sitting here at 3. I was actually trading it here. As you can see, I have these lines drawn out from last year. I didn't delete them. And this was what I was looking at, you know, bullish flag, potential breakout the top side. And there we had it, a move right above that 3. And people were saying Cardano to 3, Cardano to 3. And then it broke 3 and we're like, ooh, Cardano to the moon, Cardano to 5. It's happening by the end of the year. Yeah, not Cardano to $5. We're at Cardano to 50 cents. And about a week ago, it was Cardano 38 cents. That's almost like not worth anything anymore. So altcoins have just been absolutely bleeding and suffering. And, you know, there's XRP2 not doing super great. Bleeding and suffering during the sell-off. Just for laughs, let's see where SHIB is at for some reason. All right, actually SHIB is not doing too bad. It's still in 16th place. But even if you look at Shiba Inu, if that was something you were into, not really my cup of tea, but if you were into that kind of thing, you'll know that even Shiba Inu, I mean, look at where it came from here. No SHIB person can laugh about Dogecoin's spike and where it's at now, because SHIB went all the way up to 8, and now it's down to 1, and it actually was below that 1 a couple days ago. So now we know that this was a hype-driven spike because of SHIB to Robinhood rumor, and then this was just a sell-off and it reconsolidated. But from pretty much here onward is just part of the crypto bleed-off. So even though Bitcoin's bad, it's not super terrible right now, because like I said, Bitcoin 29K, we're not actually at we're not like under, we're not super low under 30. We're right below. We're hovering that 30K area. And that's kind of where Bitcoin has been comfortable at its low. But when you look at the altcoins, they're the ones that are currently experiencing the crypto winter. They're already there. Like Bitcoin's not in crypto winter yet, but the altcoins, it is an altcoin winter. Absolutely. One thing that kind of makes me uncomfortable regarding this crypto winter situation is the fact that if you guys are familiar with Pro the Doge or the Slum Doge Millionaire or the Dogecoin Millionaire, whichever name you want to refer to him by, his whole thing was he bought in about 400,000 Dogecoins, and his average price is about 4 cents. We are at 8 cents right now. When Dogecoin was at its peak, he had like $3.5 million. Now we're at 8 cents. He's only up 2x. So that's actually quite concerning. We're getting back to the Dogecoin millionaire's average price. We're only 4 cents away from his average. If Bitcoin sells off and goes below 29,000, surely, I mean, as you can figure, unless Dogecoin miraculously gets some good news or a catalyst that we don't see coming, because there's really no more short-term in the pipeline, Dogecoin, I mean, it's going to get dangerously close. I mean, we're going to go straight down to 7 and 6 cents. And then what's going to happen? If Bitcoin goes down towards 20,000 flat, I mean, that could put us back to 4 cents on Doge, which means that he might actually end up in the negative. And if he ends up in the negative, being one of like the unofficial ambassadors of Dogecoin just because of how popular he is, if he, the Dogecoin millionaire, the ultimate Dogecoin hodler, ends up negative on his investment after all of that, I think that might be the worst possible PR for Dogecoin, and it could actually make it sell off just even harder as people just panic emotionally. So that's for Dogecoin what I'm concerned about. Bitcoin going lower, causing Doge to go to 4 cents, and then people subconsciously panicking because the Dogecoin millionaire is now negative on his investment, and then they're going to think that Dogecoin is just crap and trash at this point. So, but other than that, I mean, other projects too, I mean, it's just going to be a very nasty time. But that is being negative about the dip. We don't always have to be negative about the dip, guys. Even though we can be realistic about the dip, we don't have to always be negative about the dip, because seeing a Cardano back at like 25 cents, seeing Dogecoin back at like 3 cents, seeing Solana back at 20 bucks, XRP back at 25 cents, what does that give us the chance to do? It gives us a second chance to buy at prices that we thought were never going to happen again. And you don't always get a whole lot of these chances. For example, if we take a look at something that is not it, something like Bitcoin, there were people here that were saying, crypto's dead at Bitcoin 100, Bitcoin 50. I'm sure you guys have heard about the guy who spent like 10,000 Bitcoins on a pizza when it was worth like $1 or something, or less than that. And he's like, well, I thought I was doing good. You know, I bought it for pennies, and then I was able to trade in my Bitcoins for an actual meal. Now, 10,000 Bitcoins, he'd be, you know, like a billionaire or trillionaire or something. Quick math. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, surely, you know, look at this, 162. There was plenty of bouncing around. There was plenty of movement. All of this is over the period of about an entire year and a half. This is actually 2 years where Bitcoin sat at about 190, and then it went up to, you know, the couple hundreds. This took about 2 years to happen. Well, did the price come back down? I mean, yeah, you could see right here, if you look really close, there was a big move up from like 100 to 300, a deep pullback, a big move up to like 300, a big pullback to 162. People probably panicked, said Bitcoin's dead. You know, this is the end. Sell, sell, sell. Crypto winter, right? And then said, forget cryptocurrency, forget Bitcoin. This was a bad idea. They closed their app. And now what? You come back months later. Now Bitcoin's not at 162. Now Bitcoin's at 300. I'm sure at some point these guys were wishing, praying, oh, now we have a flag here. Hopefully this breaks to the bottom so I can get a dip and get another chance. But the thing is, they already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chances, but They said, no, it's probably a bad idea. Now, look at what happened. Did they get another chance at 160? No, never. Never did it ever go back. And then, that just happens and it repeats. Look here, look here. No, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats. Here, for example, and I'm actually a victim of this one, right? Because I saw this dip happen. This was when COVID hit. So, I mean, yeah, we moved all the way up to 20K on Bitcoin. We pulled back to 3K. No one bought. Or maybe people thought, oh, this isn't the bottom. They panicked. We moved back up to 13. Pull back all the way back to 3 again. We had 3 chances to buy at 3,000. I saw this one. I actually bought one and then I sold it because I wanted to mess with, I think this was right when I started to get familiar with Dogecoin. And I was like, oh, well, Dogecoin's 4 cents and it keeps going from 4 to 5. So I'll just trade that 4 to 5 cent move instead, and 4 to 6 cent move. Well, was that a mistake? Well, let's take a look. Obviously, yes, that was a mistake. Is it going to go back to 3,000? Probably not. Probably not. Now the best we could probably do is something like maybe 20,000 or maybe 19,000. But I mean, we had chances. So basically what I'm saying is dips happen. Sometimes things like this happen to where we get 1, 2, 3, 4 opportunities to buy. Prices could seem super low, and the natural human tendency is to just say, the crypto is dead, because you see the price look super bearish, super low, super scary. But that could be your last chance to buy. So are you going to just panic and sit out, or are you going to buy the dip and then be one of these people that bought at 162 with some confidence and are now looking at their Bitcoin worth, 1,000x what they paid? So little mindset, that's the way to look at it, guys. These things like Solana, like I said, Solana was just at $260. Now Solana's at 48. If you believed in Solana when it was at 160 and you believed in it when it was at 250, why are you not buying at 48? And if it goes down to 20, why are you not buying at 20? That doesn't make very much sense. People make memes about people that have that mindset. If you go on Twitter, people are like, bullish, 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 bearish, sell, sell, sell. That is how smart money makes money off of us. So be smart money. So what are my thoughts on ETH's future after they go proof of stake? That's a good question. So I have 2 answers to that. 2 answers. One of the reasons why Ethereum is so popular, well, I guess there's 2 reasons why Ethereum is so popular, or 3. One is because it's just the big dog. Just like Bitcoin is the king of cryptocurrency, being a store of value, supposed to be used as a currency. Ethereum is the king of just blockchains, of multi-purpose smart blockchains. Ethereum's the king of its space. So Ethereum has that advantage as number 1, just first mover advantage and big dog advantage, like Bitcoin does. Number 2 is because Ethereum is also now, just the fact that it's so popular. And because of all the features that it has, right? It's popular, and the features that it has, it's very well thought out, and it rewards people for using it, unless you're making a transaction. In that case, you kind of get robbed, but it's highly profitable in that regard. And that kind of ties into number 3, which is the whole mining situation. Ethereum is currently, pretty consistently, from the research I've done, the most profitable blockchain to be a miner for. You get a large chunk of change from transaction fees and block rewards and all that stuff. So as a miner, you are just strongly incentivized to be a miner for Ethereum, which keeps Ethereum at the top of the popularity chain, because people want to use it because it's popular. People want to use it because it works very well and does so many things, and because so many other people use it. Just like, at one point, Xbox was the king because everybody had an Xbox and used Xbox Live, and same for PlayStation. That kind of idea. When something's popular and everyone uses it, it makes it more inviting for others to use it. Think Apple and the iPhone with iMessage too. But then it's super popular because workers get paid a whole lot to work on it. So now the workers want to be a part of the ecosystem, which really just helps the whole cycle of Ethereum being popular. So all those 3 things tied in together. Now, when Ethereum goes proof of stake, there's going to be some good and bad things. So eventually the good things are going to be, well, now we don't have to pay for electricity to do mining because now things are proof of stake. And now we're going to have, with ETH2, we're going to have like the shard chains and the roll-up chains and all that different stuff. So technically, Ethereum should get significantly faster, have significantly more bandwidth, and because of that, network load should be reduced, and so transaction fees should also be significantly reduced. So that will also make Ethereum more popular, because now more people like myself don't want to use it right now because it's way too expensive to do something. They'll feel better about using it. So I think overall for Ethereum, proof of stake is going to be the bread and butter and what really sets it off and helps it move on to stage 2. I've always said that when ETH2 comes, I think it can go from a $2,000 to $5,000 token to like a $10,000 to $15,000+ token, because just the accessibility and getting rid of all of its weaknesses and its flaws that it has right now kind of happens with ETH2. Cheaper to use, faster, more bandwidth. That's just better for everybody that's a normal person. I do think Ethereum's going to suffer a little bit just because miners are not going to, we're losing that popularity reason number 3, which is it being the most profitable to be a miner for, because miners won't exist anymore. When you move to proof of stake from proof of work, you don't need people to use their computers to do work anymore. The whole staking concept means that people become validators instead of using their computers as their contribution. They stake their Ethereum tokens. So basically they just pay and then they get rewards for staking their Ethereum and sitting it there. So I think it will lose some popularity because of that, and then we'll see miners go somewhere else. But I don't think, for the average person, that anybody, like me or you is really going to care, right? So for us, it's going to be good, but I think it will also just lose some popularity because some people will kind of be out of a job. But still, Ethereum probably still number 1. All right, so that should have been my longest answers. Now I can start touching on some of your questions. Oh, it would appear we have spam. Where's my mods at when I need them? There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, let's see. Let's see. And I really wanted to get to this Luna conversation as well. Tesla analysis, please. All right, let's get to that in a minute. I want to tackle some more crypto questions. Let me see. Oh yeah, someone also asked, do I think Dogecoin is dead? And also, what were my thoughts on the Twitter deal? And are we in a bull market or a bear market? I think overall, I'd have to say I think we're actually in a bear market. I think the bull market was the price movement basically from the beginning of Bitcoin's time up until we hit that 60,000 target. Now I think we're in a bear market. And I'll very quickly kind of explain what my thought process is with that. And it's kind of something that I touched on before. So typically, if you guys are familiar with like technical analysis and the general price movement of stocks, yeah, why is it this channel they choose to say that on? I have no idea. Like, why would you go to a crypto channel, a finance channel to spam sexual content? Kind of weird. Anyway, if you're familiar with the way that stocks and crypto and whatever that trades off of a graph, they're all kind of the same. How they typically move, the 200 EMA is usually pretty highly respected. Now, as you're moving along, you expect to see different things happen. You expect to see bullish moves, and you expect to see eventually bearish moves. In my opinion, it's almost never healthy for an asset to go on a never-ending bull run, because at some point, people are going to start to think, well, surely there needs to be a pullback at some point. surely the bearish, surely people are going to eventually say, all right, this is probably the top, and want to take profit and want to sell. And surely that's going to have its snowball effect. And then the bears will have their turn, to go short, and then we'll see prices undervalued for a period of time. And then it'll hit a bottom there. Then people will say, all right, this is probably the bottom. They'll buy that dip. So I wish I could kind of draw this out. But basically what I'm saying is, if you look at a line like this one right here, price movement typically does one of those things where, it goes up. And let's just say this is the average value, like what everyone could say the average value of a Bitcoin is. You'll see the price, kind of go above that, and then it'll start to be overvalued, and then it'll naturally come back towards the value level. At some point, it's healthy to get a pullback to the area of value and it not be overvalued forever. But then usually at some point when that happens, it also then flips to the underside, becomes undervalued for a period of time, and then people buy that up and they're like, ooh, a discount. That could be based off of bad news. I mean, that could be based off of FUD in the space. Whatever the reason is for people to feel negative, will usually cause the asset to be undervalued. People, they panic for a bit, then they buy the dip, and basically you just get these ebb and flows, above and under and back to normal, and above, back to normal, under, above, under. So with that concept in mind, if you look at the average price indicator, which is the EMA or the SMA, whichever one you're using, the moving average indicator, if you look at the main average price indicator of that, which is going to be your 200 period moving average, if you look at that, apply the same concept. Typically what you want to see is the price do that on this diagonal here, on this red line. You want to see the price pull up, that's normal, but then you generally want to see a pullback at some point, at least, to the area of value. And then the same thing. I mean, it's sometimes, what's healthy too is to see price, go from over to under, over to under, over to under, and there's a little under right there, so on and so forth. And that's why I said when we were sitting here that it's been a really long time, because we started streaming. I started live streaming when we were here. All right. And what I basically said about Bitcoin is that it's kind of unhealthy how parabolic we went here on this uptrend. Typically what you want to see is a pullback to EMA support, where everybody starts to feel more comfortable. Everyone got excited. They bought, massive bull run. Everyone's just buying because it's going up fast and they're getting excited and feeling emotional. Then people take profit. That needs to sell off. The hype needs to cool down. We need to get back to normal before we make another move. And we just hit normal. So that's one angle that you could look at it and maybe be bullish about it, because we just did what we kind of needed to do to safely continue an uptrend here. We at the very least got a touch at and slightly under the 200 EMA. We got an opportunity to buy at the what most people can regard as the average price here at this 200 EMA on the weekly time frame. So it's a very high time frame too. People can definitely respect that number. So that's good. But still, in my opinion, the problem is, if you really just look at the movement, yeah, we had some little moments underneath of the 200 EMA, but did we really get time under there? Like, have we had our bearish moment yet? And when I look at this, the answer is kind of no. I mean, it's not really, because look here. I mean, big move up, but just barely anything under. We just touched. Big move up, barely anything under. Massive move up, barely anything under. We haven't had a real bear market yet. And I'm feeling like we're probably due for one at this point. Like, how much higher are we going to go before fear or just being overpriced, in some people's opinion, causes people to sell and take profit and cash out, and then see a bearish moment. Like, we have not spent any significant amount of time anywhere significantly under the 200 EMA, which is the average, what everyone has, based off their buying and selling, has shown is kind of the safe average price. So I think we're due for a bear market, and I think we have not hit a bear market yet. I think we are still in a bull market as long as we are above the 200 EMA on the weekly time frame. But I do think it would be somewhat healthy to see us pull back and get some more touches like in this general area. You know, these previous resistances that are now supports from 20,000 down to here, in my opinion, that would be a relatively healthy area to pull back to and have our little bear market, you know, whether that lasts for a couple months or whatever, get that out of the way. And that's 10K down to about 13, you know, 12 and a half up to 15, somewhere in this area. Flush down into here, spend some time here, get some candles down in here, get all the bears out of their feelings, you know, let them buy where they've been saying for the last months that the price is going to go down to, you know, because they've been holding their money, swearing that we're going to see a 15K Bitcoin. Let them have their moment. Let them buy their 15K Bitcoin and now contribute to bullish buying pressure so that we can go back into a proper bull market and head towards 100K and beyond. Because there's no doubt in my mind, based off everything we know, you know, Bitcoin's going, you know, in 2024, when the next halving event occurs, Bitcoin's going to be twice as hard to come by. It's going to be twice as valuable, basically. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. So I fully expect the price to go way above 100K, but short term, I don't think we've had a bear market yet, and I think we're due for one. So I think we could be heading into a bear market, but I still think we're in a bull market. Hopefully that made sense. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button if you have not already. I do appreciate it. Thank you all for the 14 likes so far. It means a lot. And also, if you enjoyed this like honest, legitimate, informative content, please consider clicking the subscribe button, and then of course click the notification bell so that you maybe, if YouTube's being nice, will notify you when I go live next. Even that's hit or miss, but definitely won't get the notification if you don't click the bell. So click that bell and select all. Ryan says that he sees a bear market until 2024 at least. Now, I could see something like that happening, and I think now, guys, is a great time. Just with everything happening, it's kind of an ideal time, and it would make sense for it to happen for a bear market to kind of kick in and linger for a bit. And this is where we can maybe transition into the Luna talk. So Luna, right? Man, I really almost don't even want to talk about it, but I also do. Let me drink some of this coffee real quick. Sorry. All right, guys. Well, let's talk about Luna. Let's talk about the disaster known as Luna. And then let's also talk about the potential get-rich-quick play that Luna is providing right now. And then we'll probably wrap up the stream by talking about just the last two questions there. Is Dogecoin dead? And is the Twitter deal dead? And then we'll do Artful's Tesla analysis as well. That'll wrap us up because it's getting a little late, I think. So all right. So let's talk about Luna, guys. This is kind of the reason why I think that a bear market is due and honestly could happen. Luna was one of Terra Luna and UST, Terra UST, the stablecoin, was one of the most trusted projects out there in the crypto market. It was relatively high market cap on coinmarketcap.com. It was up here somewhere, I believe in the top 20. I don't know exactly where it was, but I think it was like 30 billion market cap, which would put it somewhere in that area of where like Dogecoin and the others were. It was up there, all right? People invested so much money into that project and trusted it. There's a couple different reasons why, all right? Reason number one was because of the founder of the project, super smart guy had a lot of money, super confident, almost arrogantly confident, and also super arrogantly confident in his project as well, which, you know, in itself, I don't have a problem with. I'm not flaming that confidence. Sometimes I like that kind of confidence, but super arrogantly confident in his project and the fact that it just could not fail. And yeah, so people, you know, so one is the leader of the project, and I'm sure being Dogecoin fans and, you know, Elon Musk, you can kind of understand the idea. Two is going to be the fact that, just the project itself, Luna and UST. I mean, there were so many things that were being created for it. They were basically, how it goes these days. Crypto project comes up, people start talking about, all right, well, here's all the integrations that we're going to have with Luna that's going to make Luna more popular. We're going to, let's just say, for example, we're going to get into metaverse, and here's our metaverse plans. We're going to get into decentralized finance. Here's what we're going to do in the finance space. And then also all these companies are wanting to integrate Luna, and you could pay for these things with Luna, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The usual shenanigans that and things that are offered with a new crypto project to get people interested. So it had plenty of that going on. You can go to their website if you want to read more about the exacts of what those things were, but it's kind of irrelevant for this conversation. And then number 3, and maybe this is most important, is because it was a stable coin. So when you have a whole lot of money in the crypto space, a lot of times when you don't want to be in a volatile asset, so let's just say you bought Dogecoin at 1 cent and you put $1,000 in at 1 cent. Now Dogecoin went up to 70 cents. So you've 70x'd your investment, and now you have $70,000 instead of $1,000. Now let's just say you are convinced that Dogecoin has hit the top and it's going to sell off, and so you want to take profit, but you don't want to sell and pay capital gains taxes yet and all of that. You want to keep your money in the crypto space, but you just probably want to take profit, and if possible, you'd like to cash it out for a dollar amount that it's going to be stable. Let me go buy another cryptocurrency that is $1 per and isn't going to move. It's not going to fluctuate, and I'll just hold my assets there until I find something else I want to go into, and then I'll trade it for that, if that makes sense. So stable coins basically offer people the opportunity to do that. You can cash out of a volatile asset and move it to something that's pegged to the US dollar. The value is always going to be $1 per token, and it's basically like you cashed out, but it's still in crypto. And then whenever you change your mind, you want to go trade other cryptos, you just trade it from that stable coin that's pegged to the USD over to another crypto. And as you can see here, there's multiple here. We've got Tether, which is pretty much right there at $1. USD coin, which is USDC. It's a ERC20 Ethereum token. It's probably the most popular stablecoin right now. It's one that I use pretty often. It is pretty consistently pegged right at $1. And I lost some audio in this earbud. Let me go try my other one. And UST was the other one, and it was supposed to accomplish the same purpose. The only thing is UST was set up just a little bit differently. And so, I'm sorry guys, I need to turn some volume down really quick. Let me see if that still works. Okay, it still works. UST was another stable coin, and it involved Terra or Luna in its function. And basically the whole concept, and I'm not going to go too much into explanation, but the way that it worked, typically stable coins are collateralized by actual assets. So maybe there's a stable coin that's backed by the US dollar, there's a stable coin that's backed by gold, or maybe there's one that's backed by Bitcoin or whatever. But Luna UST, though it did have physical assets, it had 30,000 Bitcoins and a whole lot of money in different things. Its concept was if the value of UST at any given point, you could trade 1 UST for 1 Luna or 1 Luna for 1 UST. So if at any given point the value or $1 worth, the value of a Luna or a UST went up to $1.01 and you were in profit, you could exchange that for $1 worth of Luna. Basically, it was you could do this arbitrage between the two and capitalize off of one being worth more and one being worth less. And then you would sell whichever one was higher, buy the cheaper one, buy the dip on the cheaper one, and then you'd make profit that way. And by people being incentivized to do that arbitrage, the selling pressure of when, let's just say UST hit $1 1 cent or $1 2 cents, people are selling to take profit, and that selling pressure makes the price of UST go back down. keeping it pegged where it should be at just $1 flat. But then also the value of Luna then goes up because people are exchanging it for, the UST for the Luna, and then vice versa. So it's kind of like this balancing act between the two tokens at all times, and they were directly pegged to each other. Then there's just some weird mechanisms in there that created a situation where Luna had the potential to be severely exposed, because Luna was supposed to be like the coin. Yeah, it was useful, but it also kind of propped up UST. And if UST was falling, automatically more Luna tokens would be printed into circulation for whatever reason to counter that. I don't know all the technicalities, but long story short, the founder of Luna was warned that that whole concept was not stable, that it could be exploited by a hacker, and that if the hacker came and did the right thing and caused UST to lose its peg hard enough and, drop significantly below $1, that so much Luna would end up being printed in effect that Luna would end up crashing as people panic sold, and then we wouldn't be able to restore the UST peg, and that this death spiral would occur to where both Luna is going in value, going down out of control, because there's just billions and billions and billions and trillions more of it being printed into circulation, so the value is decreasing, and then UST also spirals out of control as it can't be held back to its peg, and that those two things just keep going back and forth and making each other worse. That's the long story short. Mr. Arrogant CEO, founder of Luna, basically said, I dare you guys to try, like that's not going to work. And well, long story short, someone tried and it worked, and that's why Luna died. So the problem though is that there were like I think there were billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars invested in Luna or UST at the time of the crash, because again, Luna was a stable coin, something that people, if you don't trust altcoins because they're super volatile, some of them are low market cap, they're not proven, you don't know the developers behind it, or just even higher market cap projects like Dogecoin, Solana, they're all over the place, they fluctuate. If you don't trust having your money sitting in one of those because you're scared you're going to lose your money, the safe thing to do, if you didn't even want to do Bitcoin, which fluctuates as well, put your money in a stable coin that's pegged to the US dollar, and you can safely hold it there. So because of that, imagine institutional investors and just people with large amounts of money in their crypto accounts felt most comfortable storing their significant amounts of money in this stable coin that was supposed to be stable and pegged to the US dollar and not supposed to be able to be shaken. Unfortunately, well, that did not pan out. And I don't even know if UST is still up here somewhere, but if we can find it and see what's the current price of Terra right now, it went from $1 to 9 cents. So if you had like $1 million in your stable coin here, $1 million of Terra, which was pegged to $1 per, so you had 1 million Terra UST. Now that is worth like what is that? $9,000, something like that. Yeah, you lost all your money. And so these people that had their life savings being held in this what was supposed to be stable investment coin, there's just hundreds and thousands of people that got absolutely burned. Lots of people lost their entire life savings. Hundreds of millions, billions of dollars were just wiped out over the course of a couple days because this project failed. And it was supposed to be a trustworthy project. Sorry, I know I ranted on that a little bit, but I wanted to explain. So because of the weight of trusted project up there somewhere with Bitcoin failing and costing surely important people, some people lost their entire livelihoods over this crypto thing. People are going to now trust cryptocurrency as a whole way less. And what this basically does is it screams to all the investors, especially those that were feeling kind of confident, hey guys, maybe you shouldn't be so confident. This is just your friendly reminder never to invest more than you're willing to lose, and that cryptocurrency is still new. and prone to do some surprising things like that. Like, you can get wiped out in a day, and like and this is part 2, there's no regulation on cryptocurrency yet. And so this is a call to investors to be careful and maybe stay away from cryptocurrency, or, just be very careful. And it's a call to regulators that cryptocurrency might be in need of further regulation, because the fact that a trusted project like that's a stable coin that legitimately was not a scam, can make millionaires broke in the matter of a couple of hours, and just nothing legitimately be done about it, is highly concerning. And the government, we have the SEC, which modulates and regulates the stock market to make sure that those kind of things just aren't possible, right? Even if things start to halt or start to spiral out of control, there's so many mechanisms in place to protect people's money, right? Because the last thing you want is for the entire country to, get their bank accounts wiped, and then the money end up in one person's hands or something ridiculous. So, there's things like stock market halts and just all kinds of securities in place. The crypto space does not have those. And this is just another reminder of what can potentially happen to people if you like to live on the edge and trade with no rules and not have someone over your back. Yeah, regulation is annoying. Having the government in all your business sometimes can be annoying. It can be costly. But at the same time, losing $1 to $10 to $50 to $100 million in the course of a couple hours, that's not so cool either. So I think this is really going to open up the realization to everybody that maybe crypto is not as secure overall as we thought. I think it could cause people to second guess, especially countries and institutions, their current investment in Bitcoin, because surely they've seen what's going on, and maybe they're thinking, well, if that can happen to a stable coin that's highly valued like that, what if it is possible for Bitcoin? What's to stop it? What regulations in place? Nothing. Are we really kind of gambling with our large accounts? It could spook big money out of investing at the current stage until regulation comes in. So that's why I said what just happened with Luna is actually the perfect recipe when you combine it with the fact that we're already at lows. Now, by the way, Luna did cause this recent sell-off, by the way. Luna did cause the recent market crash that happened over these last couple days and weeks. So we're already seeing the effects of people starting to panic and be like, hey, wait. But now that you combine the fact that we're at new lows and we're weak at these lows too, and the fact that the whole day by day, you can check the accounts on Twitter, the CEO or the founder of Luna and their other official account, you can check their Twitter accounts and see the updates, what they're trying to do to fix the situation, what their plans are. And each day that there is not a viable solution to give people their money back is another day that we get closer to seeing a crypto winter. Because if they don't do this right and people legitimately are not able to recover their funds, I think that's going to just be the final straw to where people are like, all right, this crypto thing's ridiculous, and they might stay away. But if they can pull it off and manage to make people their money back, or figure out how to reimburse people properly, then the opposite effect could come in, where people are like, all right, well, yeah, that was bad, but they got it figured out, and maybe, this won't happen again. We learned from it. We didn't lose all our money. Okay, guys, that was scary. Back to business as normal. I think that's where we sit right now. And so are we about to enter a full-on crypto bear market? Is the crypto winter about to get much colder? Should we buy much heavier winter coats and bundle up for the winter and sit next to the fire? I think that's to be determined over the next couple days with what happens with Luna, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my take. And so finally, 2 comments. Oh, League of Legends. Ha ha ha. Risk of holding is the lowest. Wait, take a look at market risk map. The risk of holding is the lowest. Okay, I'll check that out in a minute. So do I think it's better to still DCA weekly or save cash on the sidelines because there will be more bleeding? I would definitely have bought some at these current prices, because the thing is, even though, guys, yes, crypto winter has begun and our prices on things are super low. Dogecoin sits at 8, Cardano around 50. The prices are very low. And it looks super bearish. But also Because of that, the moment that Bitcoin shows signs of reversal, and let's just say heads back above like 33,000, those things are going to spike out of the hole so fast that you're not going to see that dip again. Like if Bitcoin goes back to 33K and heads towards 35, I think Doge is going right back to like 12 to 15 cents. And you are probably not going to see Doge under 10 again, unless Bitcoin truly does like do a full on crash to where we're talking about right now. And the same goes for the other projects. I was scared we wouldn't see Cardano at 75 cents again. Now Cardano's at 50 and it was at 38 not long ago. I really strongly advise against getting greedy, trying to time the absolute bottom. Now, when you see that we're in a general market trend, you can look at the next level of support or resistance as an idea of where you'll plan to set your buy. But when you are at like a level of support like we are right now, and we don't know if we're going to break below or if we're going to bounce off as we should, not buying at the support level is usually just kind of being greedy. Now, if your average is already pretty low, let's say your average on Dogecoin's like 10 cents, and so you don't really want to buy at 8 in case we're going to go down to 5, that's fair. But if you have no Dogecoin at all, or if your average is like 15 to 20 to 30 cents, and you're looking at 8 cents right now, you're like, oh, but what if we get 6? That's being a little greedy. So I would say look at what your average is. If it's nowhere near current prices, or if you have no position, then it's being too greedy in my opinion, to not buy any at all. So I would start just buying now, and then just in case things get worse, save money for that. But if your average price is pretty close to where we're at now, in that case, you don't really lose anything by waiting and seeing. Me, in my case, I'm waiting and seeing because my average cost is relatively close. But yeah, I strongly advise against greeting for the absolute bottom. Joseph Jackson says, appreciate it, bro. Yeah, no problem. Trying to learn more about it, and and I know you, so it's nice to listen to someone who you trust. Oh yeah, what's going on, JJ? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, and then let's see. Bro Science says, things happen, burn it and rebuild it. If you've been in the crypto game for 4+ years, sometimes you get wrecked. Absolutely. And it is the name of the game. But with the project being so large as it was, it's getting so much attention that I think it's just going to spook a lot of people. And it already has, as you can see by this move here. But it may not be over, because if things get worse in the next couple days, then people will get even more potentially discouraged. So now let's talk about kind of the last part of the conversation here, which is going to be, what is the money-making play on Luna? What in the world was Mariano talking about when he said there's money to be made? Does this left one work? It's weird not hearing the music. Hang on one moment. Yes, okay. I got some music. The right earbud died. The left one's good. So, let's take a look at Luna, guys. So, if we go to, let's just go to the monthly chart for Luna here, or let's do 3 months. You could see here that Luna at its peak. Here's the money making play, guys. So if you tuned out for the last, 15 minutes when I was rambling about stuff, strongly advise that you tune back in. This is going to be the last segment of the stream here. And Dr. Dre just said Doge One's launching in the coming months will have a nice pump, in your opinion, for people that want to take profits. Yeah, we'll probably, there is still that catalyst. And I did want to talk about Doge too. We'll see after this part if I have a couple minutes. So, how do we make money off of Luna? What is the potential money-making play? Now, before I even say what this play is, disclaimer, this is a bit of a gamble. And I'm going to explain why as we go through it. But there's potential to make a whole lot of money if things go well. All right, so it is going to be a complete coin flip. Either we get rich together, guys, or we die trying. It's one of those, all right? So, as you can see, Luna was valued at about $115 just 1 month ago. If you look back a month and a half ago, a Luna token, $115. Now, because of all the garbage that's gone on, a Luna token is now worth 1/100th of a cent. Let's really think about what I just said there. $115 per token to 1/100th of 1 cent per token. Never have I seen something like that in my life, and it'd still be on the market. Now, because of all that, it's worth saying too, 1/100th of a cent was actually not the bottom. We were actually at about 1/1000th of a cent about a week ago, if you caught the very bottom of the dip. Unfortunately, the exchanges I used went down. It started delisting and trying to figure out what to do and started panicking, so I couldn't buy the very bottom. But regardless, now Luna sits here at almost 2/100ths of a cent. And now I'll start referring to it just as what it says here. So we're at about 1,800, nearing 2,000. All right. So that's the current price. Because of that, you're able to buy significant amounts of Luna token for a very low amount of money. Think about it like Shiba Inu, right? The price per token, super low, lots of zeros, right? No more spam, please. No. Right? Lots of zeros, super cheap per token, but the thing is, there's so many tokens in supply. There's so much circulating supply that that's why. And the market cap's actually relatively normal because there's so many tokens. So you're multiplying cheap price by insane amount of tokens equals value of the project, which is still about over $1 billion, which is pretty high. The circulating supply of Luna was like, 300 million before the crash? And because of what I explained earlier with the whole death spiral thing and how when UST goes down in price, Terra ends up printing more Luna. We went from 300 million to 6.5 trillion Luna in circulation right now. That's why the price gained so many zeros in the front of it. It's because we printed so much more out of thin air that the value of each token became diluted. Now, here's the whole money-making play. Obviously, Terra Luna right now as a token is dead, you could say. It's pretty much dead. The whole community has been begging the founder on Twitter, if you just follow their account, has been begging the guy named Dogecoin, begging him, please do a burn of the token, right? We came from 300 million. We printed about 7 trillion tokens. The price dropped super low. Now we can buy these tokens, buy like 1 million Luna for like $250. Now we can do that. And if we can implement a token burn, here's the small brain mindset of all the retail investors. But hey, good idea though. If we can burn all these tokens that we just printed, the value of each of our tokens will start to go back up and we'll just start to make money automatically. So please Duquan, please implement a token burn. Please burn token. So basically, that was the proposition to him. And I will say, not a bad idea. If we could figure out, maybe Terra Luna, since they supposedly had like billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and other things, because they had 30,000 Bitcoins, right? If they could just buy back some of the supply or take supply that is just in circulation right now that nobody owns and somehow figure out a way to start burning. Or the real proposition was, let's see, people wanted to know if we could implement a transaction fee, right? So let's start charging a transaction fee on all Terra Luna transactions, and then let's burn like the transaction fees, and that's how, burn it to a dead wallet, and that's how we'll start taking Luna out of circulating supply, which will then make the value of Luna start to go up over time. So, lots of good ideas by the retail. Unfortunately, the Luna founders pretty much rejected all ideas regarding the burn, basically saying they couldn't make sense of it. And so that is not going to happen, unfortunately. So as of today, all right, and we're getting to the money making part. Here's what's happening. I'm just going to read this out. It says, this is from the official account. Terra 2.0 is coming. With overwhelming support, the Terra ecosystem has voted to pass Proposal 1623, calling for the genesis of a new blockchain and the preservation of our community. So, basically, to explain this, the proposition, so we had the retail traders saying, can we please do a token burn? But we had the Terra developer saying, let's instead make a new Luna token. So let's create a fork. Let's call the token that we trade right now, let's call it Luna. Let's call it like Luna Classic or Luna V1 version 1. And then let's create a new version of Luna, and we'll call it Luna V2 or just Luna, because now the old one's Luna Classic. And this new Luna we'll make it a valuable token. We'll do things with it. But unlike the old one, like the Luna we trade right now, Luna Classic is directly tied to and pegged to like UST and the success of UST. This new token is going to be a standalone token. So it's going to be a new Luna that is not tied to a stable coin. So it is not exposed to the same, it's not possible to do the death spiral again if UST gets out of control. It is just its own normal token. It is not tied to another token like Luna Classic. And so they're basically saying Luna 2.0, this new Luna is coming, and it says it will effectively create a new Terra chain without the algorithmic stablecoin UST. The old chain will be called Terra Classic. This will be the new token name for current Luna, LUNC for Luna Classic, and the new chain will be called Terra, not Terra Classic, but just Terra, with the token being Luna now. The chain upgrade will commence a few hours after the launch snapshot. All right, so now you may be wondering, well, what's going to happen with this Luna Classic? Like, is our token just useless? They're just making a new Luna out of thin air. So many questions about what's going to happen. If I hold Luna Classic, like what's going to happen? Do I get any of the new Luna? And this is where the money-making possibility comes in. So please just bear with me. He says, now, will Luna Classic becomes useless? Probably so. So that's to answer question number 1. The current Luna right now probably will just be absolutely 1000% useless. All right. So the price will eventually, I think, drop significantly below where it even is right now. All right. So please keep that in mind. If you're looking at Luna and you see it's at 1800 right now, after this new Luna token comes out, this Luna will probably be worth, after Friday, it'll probably add 1 or 2 more zeros. No one's going to hold it. No one's going to care. Like, there'll be no point. That's my guess. Here's the money-making proposition. Luna, the new token Luna, will be airdropped across Luna Classic stakers, Luna Classic holders, residual UST holders, and essential app developers of Terra Classic. So, if you are a holder of the current Luna, and by that, not W Luna, not wrapped Luna, okay? So if you're on Coinbase like I was and you're using W Luna, that is probably not going to work because that does not actually count as Luna. It is a Ethereum token. It is a ERC20 Ethereum token on the Ethereum network that mirrors and it's kind of pegged to the price of actual Luna. But if you're holding W Luna, you're holding like a clone of it on the Ethereum blockchain. You don't actually have legitimate Luna. So if you want to be a part of this airdrop, you need to have one of the legitimate Luna. You have to have the legitimate actual token or a derivative of like a legitimate token. So there's like B Luna and some other Luna thing. You'll know. If you know, you know. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Just get the actual Luna. You can get it crypto.com. You can use Kucoin, and it's still available some other places as well. All right. Now, he's saying that Luna holders, if you're holding the current Luna right now, you will be airdropped some new Luna when Luna comes out. And here's the part where I think the get rich quick could come in. And it's going to depend on a few factors, but here's the kicker. Token distribution details can be found in the governance proposal, but to summarize, community pool 30%, pre-attack, so this is before the attack that caused the price to crash. Pre-attack Luna holders will be airdropped 35% of their holdings. So if you were holding, let's say, 100 tokens of Luna before the attack, you should be getting airdropped 35 new Luna tokens, because that's 35% of your previous holdings. Pre-attack UST holders will get 10% of their UST holdings as tokens. But then it looks like post-attack Luna holders will be getting 10%, and then post-attack UST holders will be getting 15%. Now, there's a couple different ways that this can be interpreted, and we're going to need a little more clarification on exactly what they mean, because they could be saying the value of your holdings, which I think would be incredibly difficult to figure out, because you'd have to figure out, like, when did they buy the tokens and what was it worth at the time of their buying, to figure out what the value was. Because, yeah, I might hold 1 million Luna tokens, but, like, what did I pay for Luna? When did I buy it? There's no real way for the dev team there to see that. So for that reason, I don't think they're saying the value of your holdings, you'll get 15% of that back. It looks like what they're saying is you will get like 10 to 15% of your actual holdings, right? So if I have 100 Luna tokens now, and that's what I'm talking about here. Pre-attack, before the crash, those people will get 35% of the amount of Luna tokens they had. But after the attack, if you have tokens right now, you will get 10% of your current Luna token holdings airdropped to you in the new Luna, right? And I think that's where the money-making proposition comes in. Now, keep in mind, they said, now this post-attack airdrop, you are only qualified for the post-attack airdrop up until when the snapshot happens and the new token goes live. And as you can see here, they're saying that this snapshot, the new chain will launch on the 27th of May. It is now May 25th. So if you want in on this airdrop, you need to be a holder of Luna Classic, the current Luna, before May 27th, before this Friday. So literally now or tomorrow is the only safe time to buy and hold. As soon as that new blockchain goes live, the snapshot of current Luna holders will be taken, and anyone who's not a Luna holder at that point will not be included in the reimbursement. So the play for me, in my opinion, because Luna's so cheap, and this is my thought process on how maybe this could become a get-rich-quick thing. It could just be too good to be true. It could absolutely fall through. But here's my thoughts. Because of the price of Luna right now, let's pull up a calculator. And there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of things are going to get factored into this. So please don't just, please put some thought, your own thoughts into this as well. So this is the current price. Will it let me type? Maybe that value doesn't actually come across as a number. So let's do this. Okay, maybe not. It's fine. So let's just type it in manually. So let's say you have $250 to trade with right now. Okay, actually, Bro Science said I'm willing to lose 500 on Luna, no problem, worth the risk. I ain't rich, 5 bills, a lot for me, but the upside, I'm already in. Okay, so cool. Let's just say $500, for example, since that's the number he gave. We put in $500. We buy Luna $500 worth at this current price. So that's going to be .00018. Okay, .00018. How many tokens do we get? All right, if you drop $500 on Luna right at this moment that we're speaking, you can get about 2.3 million Luna tokens. So that's how much you would get right now. That being said, let's just say 2,750,000 to make the number a little more even. They're saying on their account here, if you do that right now and you're holding Luna, when the new Luna comes out, at some period in time, because they do have details on how long it's going to take for everybody to get reimbursed. They said it's going to be, there'll be like a couple month waiting period, and then they'll start to airdrop people tokens over the next 1 or 2 years, whatever. It could be a waiting game. But if you're holding 2 to 3 million tokens, like 2,750,000, and you get reimbursed 10%, so what would that be? Divided by 10. You are going to get $275 25,000 new Luna tokens airdropped to you, just for being a holder of current Luna pre snapshot. So basically, you pay $500 and you get 275,000 of the new Luna given to you as compensation for the disaster. Here's where the money making play could potentially come in. How much is the new Luna token going to be worth? Because suddenly now you have 275,000 of this random new token. We don't know exactly what this token is going to be used for. Is it even going to be successful? And we don't know the tokenomics either. How many tokens are going to be in circulating supply? Is it going to be 10 billion? Is it going to be 100 million? Who knows? Which would influence the per token price, because they could make a whole lot of these tokens and the price be super low, just like Shiba Inu. Or they can do what they did with the original Luna, have 300 million, 500 million tokens, and that allow a high price per token and keep a reasonable market cap. So $275,000 per token. If the new Luna token drops, and by the time we get our airdrops of our reimbursement, that token is at $1 per. That's not even that much. If the new Luna is worth $1 per token, you just made $250,000 for spending $500. If that token, it has reasonable tokenomics and it's anything like the old Luna, to where the price on a bad day could be worth $5 per. That's $1.25 million. Or if Luna, because before the price kind of went super high, and even after, the price was somewhere around $30 per token. If you have 275,000 of these tokens airdropped to you, you have almost 10 mil in the bank, cash, so on and so forth. If Luna becomes just as popular as it was before, and Luna is $110 to $115 per, and you spent $500 right now, and you yoinked 275,000 tokens for free, you're going to be sitting on $30 million by the time they give you your airdrop. Okay, so obviously, guys, this sounds a little too good to be true. Okay, obviously, now we don't know if the price is necessarily of this new Luna token. I'm going to strongly doubt, just because of fear, right, around the name of it just being Luna, people losing confidence in the people being confident in the project, all of this stuff. Just because of that, I doubt, even if this new project is super successful, we're going to see prices this high, unless there's very, very few tokens in circulation. But I mean, a $1 Luna token, like I said, I don't know how many new Luna tokens are going to be in circulation, so it's kind of hard to guess what's a reasonable price if it's even a successful project. But I mean, if there's any less than 6 trillion, if we just have 600, let's just say a couple billion, if we have billions, and this can reasonably be anywhere near $1, 50 cents, 10 cents, anything different than this nonsense where we're at 1,000th of a cent, you're going to make bank. So literally, if you're getting 10% of your holdings, so if the new Luna drops a 0, you've already 10x'd your money. So if instead of having 3 zeros in front of the price, if the new Luna comes out and the price has a 1 here instead of here, your 500 is already $5,000 because you just gained a 0. And then, or actually, I think this is where you would actually you would get $500 here because you only got 10%. So yeah, this is 500, this is 5,000, this is 50,000, this is 500,000, so on and so forth. So lots of money to be made potentially, guys, at a very, very low risk. So at this point, if you have 100, 250, 500, $1,000, anything like that you're willing to chuck at this and just see what happens, right? Because what's the worst that can happen? If you've got some spare money in your trading account and you see that we're going into this crypto winter here, things aren't looking so great. Bitcoin's down at these low prices. Dogecoin looks like it's not going to recover anytime soon. Same for ADA, same for Ethereum. And it looks like we're going to have this lull where there's nothing better to do with our trading accounts anyway. That's kind of how I feel right now. And I'm kind of willing to, I'd rather, you know, I love my Dogecoin, don't get me wrong, but I would rather spend $500 on a chance at some crazy money-making play that may not happen ever again on Luna here versus 500 in Dogecoin at 8 cents. And then, you know, maybe that turns into $5,000 once Doge is back to like 50 or 60 cents. So that's just my opinion. Hopefully that explanation made sense. I told everybody about that in the Discord group earlier. That's kind of my play. And so what I ended up doing, guys, I already started to scale in. All right, I am scaling in. I'm not just throwing large chunks of change at this. I already got burned on Luna once. All right, here's what happened. I bought Luna. I bought $1,000 worth of Luna at $1. The price 4x'd. I sold it at 4, something like that. Or no, I bought at 4. I sold at 6. So my 1,000 went to 1,500, and then it dipped. I bought at 2, and then I sold at like 450. So long story short, I turned $1,000 into $4,000. Then I chucked, when it started pulling back again, I chucked the $4,000 back into Luna at 2,000. I mean, back at like $2, and then now that's worth about $1. So it went from $1,000 to $4,000 to $1. If I look at my Webull account, yeah, my $4,000 gain turned into $1. So Luna's already burned me once. I don't have a great relationship with Luna at this point. Yeah, take a look. I'm not lying. All right, if you could see that right there, it says minus $4,000. My account value is now $3. Okay, Luna's a risky play. I understand that. Hopefully we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it just seems like a pretty solid chance to take, so I'm going to do it. They'll airdrop from Pelican Bay in 2 summers. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll be somewhere overseas as well. All right. Yeah, no problem, Rafi. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, almost like buying a call option. We have W Luna, so we get 0. Right. And so that's why, you know, I sold all of my W Luna. I'm understanding that the W Luna play is after Friday, W Luna is probably going to be worth next to nothing. So I went ahead and sold my W Luna, and I bought some Luna on crypto.com. But if you don't like crypto.com, which I don't really prefer, and this will answer your question too, Joseph, crypto.com is one place you can buy Luna, but you can also sign up for an exchange called Kucoin. It's an app as well. So it's KU coin, COIN. And they seem to be pretty decent about having coins on there. The nice thing about them is, I mean, unlike crypto.com, which is like, they let you have your own tokens, but there was one point where they weren't letting you, they limit how much of it you can buy. And then they also were getting a little weird with letting you send your coins to an external wallet. There were a couple days where that was down and they weren't letting me do it. So, and I'll send a link right now in the chat in case anyone wants to sign up for KuCoin. I signed up today. I like what I see so far, so I'm going to keep giving it a try. Here's a link to... Hopefully that will show in chat. Oh, ignore that. That's not what I wanted to type. This is a referral link to KuCoin. I guess it will give me some referral rewards. I don't know what those are yet, if you use that one to sign up. But if not, if you just go on your phone and you find it in the App Store, you can still put in this referral code here, and that will be for KuCoin. So I'll put it in the description as well, just to make things easier. So yeah, either KuCoin or crypto.com seems to be the way to go. No problem. Nice, bro, science. I bet you'll be very bullish on that. I'll be bullish on a lot of things too if that happens. But yeah, guys, I think it may turn into nothing. Like I said, this project might be dead. I could be just beating a dead horse, which I'm known to do pretty often. Like I said, Luna was crashing. I 4x'd my money. I kept beating a dead horse. And now it's worth $3. So, it could happen. Could happen again here. We'll see. But this to me looks like a really low risk. You could throw a couple bucks in here. Like I said, I'm scaling in. I bought $250 worth earlier. I want to see what's going to happen. I would like to buy this a little bit cheaper if possible. So what I'm going to do, I bought $250 of it today. That got me about, I think 2.5 million tokens or something like that. Actually, it was like one and a quarter million tokens. That's great. That's a great start. 10% of that. I mean, that's a lot of tokens. That's like 100,000 of the new Luna already. So that's a good way to get moving, get my foot in the door. What I want to see is if people aren't thinking really this way, and if instead of buying over the next day or two, they start to sell because they know that come May 27th, this token is going to be useless. Because if they start to sell, that's when I'm going to start to buy at a cheaper price, just so that I'm holding more of it, so that I get airdropped more of the new token. Hopefully that makes sense. So scaling in, I bought $250 worth at about 2, right before it pulled back a little here. So now it's even discounted a little right now. It was up just a little. I'm going to check back tomorrow. Hope that it's like at 1,500 or closer to 1. And regardless, even if it's higher, if it's at like 2.5 or something or 3, I'm still going to buy some more. But I'm just hoping for a dip. I'll take my chances. And then, I'll finish loading up tomorrow. I might throw another 250 at it, maybe another 500, probably not. But yeah, I'm pretty good with having like 2.5 million or maybe even 5 million tokens and just calling it a day. Because I did actually make some more money back on Luna because I bought another dip on another account. And so, yeah, I would like to still have some profit left. So I won't throw everything at it, but I'm good with like 250 to 750. And I'll leave it there. Just take the rest and cash out. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. Nice long stream, making up for some lost time here. Definitely making up for some lost time. Oh yeah, there was something that the Dogecoin millionaire, previous Dogecoin millionaire, tweeted here that I wanted to touch on as we get towards wrapping up. And I'll briefly touch on Tesla. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but he says, the longer I'm in crypto, the more I'm realizing that there will only truly be a handful of cryptocurrencies that will survive. And then he said, here's my list of ones that I believe will be around thriving in 5 years. Around thriving in 5 years. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Cardano, and Cosmos. Now, I don't necessarily share the same list as him because I think Dogecoin could be hit or miss. And I think maybe even Cardano could be hit or miss. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum for sure. And I don't know anything about Cosmos. So my next 3 spot is pretty open. Obviously, I'd like to think Dogecoin should be there. But it depends on what happens this year and next. But like I tweeted, I said this a year ago, guys. And it takes people, sometimes people aren't very forward thinking and they only think about the now and what they can see today. And they're really short-sighted. They're not looking at potential for good and bad things to happen. And they just stay super locked in to the moment, and they refuse to open their minds to think about anything else. But there's so many scams everywhere. You have to consider the downsides and how, if scams come out, if bad things happen, if your project fails. We love Dogecoin here. We've been tracking Dogecoin on this stream since Doge was mid 50s. 55 cents, I think, is around when I did my first stream. Now Dogecoin's at 8 cents. Dogecoin in a week, if things get worse, could be at 4 to 6 cents. We don't know. Dogecoin in a year could be 100% dead. Who knows, right? Even though I love the project, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because it is. People thought Luna going to what it is right now is impossible. If you asked me about 3 weeks ago if I thought that was possible with Luna and that it would go from $100 per token to 1,000th of a cent, I'd probably just look at you weird, because that sounds ridiculous. Things happen, and you've got to consider all the different possibilities. But like I said, there's just so much junk. Because crypto is new, everybody gets hype about things so fast these days, whether that's new cryptocurrency projects, anything that's related to a fad that happens to do with a monkey, like an ape, with the NFT projects, or these tokens that have Inu in the name, Rocket, Moon, or any dog theme. People instantly get so excited about these things. So much of it is just junk. And it's only a matter of time before junk gets exposed and overpriced junk loses its value. And I've said, and to add on to this, guys, the same thing goes for NFT projects. NFTs and the metaverse. Everything related to cryptocurrency that's decentralized has high potential to lose a lot of its value, because people are just getting hyped about the fact that, oh, it's cryptocurrency, oh, it's decentralized, and they're not looking at these projects for what they really are. There are some NFT projects out there that really hold no value, that are like absolute junk, right? It took someone 2 seconds to click a couple areas on their screen on Photoshop and throw together a pixelated picture of nothing, like a stick figure. And they say, hey, it's DeFi, it's an NFT, it's tokenized, it's non-fungible. I'm going to set the ETH floor, ETH floor $2,000 worth of ETH. And then you throw all these buzzwords at it and you say metaverse coming soon, and suddenly you have a project. Like, there's more to art. There's more to even this whole concept of like decentralized like trading cards, which like NFTs almost are. There's more to it. And people are super hyped right now. They're assigning value to tokens that don't deserve it, to NFT projects that don't deserve it, and to metaverse projects that are just absolute trash, just because it's under the name of crypto and decentralized. But as this hype starts to cool off, people start to get more experienced, and bad things like this start to happen to things that people just blindly have trusted. The real valuable projects that actually like hold weight, the real good metaverse, the real good NFT projects that are actually useful, and the real good cryptocurrency projects that bring value and aren't just a meme and a scam. Those are the ones that will remain. And that's why on this channel, I don't go over and review a whole bunch of meme coins. I usually stick to like 4 to 5, maybe even less sometimes, topics of discussion. I'm talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Cardano, and usually 1 or 2 other cryptocurrencies. You can always go down the meme rabbit hole like we are kind of with Luna, and that's fine every once in a while. But if that's your portfolio, just a whole bunch of memes, eventually you're going to get burnt, right? Because you're probably going to lose more than you win. So my advice, find the good, solid, long-term, long-lasting projects that will really be here like in 3 to 5 years, that will increase in value and that aren't just a fad and short-term scam. And try and at least invest most of your portfolio there, even if you like to have fun with meme coins like we are right now with Luna here and there, right? As a little bonus. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to do it. I'll wrap up for the last couple questions here. So is the Twitter deal with Dogecoin dead? At this moment, I'm leaning towards thinking it's dead. So that's a bit of a negative catalyst for Dogecoin, but Elon Musk may still consider going his own route and starting his own social media platform. So there's somewhat of a bullish catalyst. He did talk about that already, so it's not off the table. So yeah, it does kind of suck for Doge, because Dogecoin tipping in Twitter, if he bought Twitter, was going to be one of our big catalysts coming up. And now if he's not going to buy Twitter, that kind of goes down the drain a bit. But we'll see. Maybe he'll decide instead of buying it, he'll go back to considering joining the board and still push for something Doge. I don't think Dogecoin at this point, Doge isn't super reliant on Elon Musk anymore. I think Doge has already cooled down to the point where it's not like we need Elon Musk to sustain our current levels at 8 cents. What Dogecoin really needs is a hard push in the direction that Doge is supposed to be going in. We need to get back into continuous development, feature-packed updates, and bringing real usefulness to Doge. Doge is similar to Bitcoin in that its utility is being a store of value, like a currency. But unlike Bitcoin, Dogecoin kind of misses that mark because it's not deflationary, right? So in order for Doge to have value, it can't just sit there and do nothing like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's bread and butter is sitting and doing nothing. Dogecoin needs to be adopted and used frequently and, understood by all, used by all. That's where Dogecoin's utility is. And if Doge can't present its usefulness by being used by many and adopted by many, then in my opinion, Dogecoin will eventually die out because that's just a failure of the project. The whole thing is adoption of Dogecoin. If it doesn't get adopted, it's failed its purpose. So can Dogecoin die? Yes. Is Dogecoin dead? No. There's actually a lot of things in development from the dev team regarding making Doge an actual good point of sale currency. And if you we'll talk about that maybe on the next stream, what those things are. Lots of things in the pipeline, but we need to advertising is really important. And we've kind of paused on our excitement and advertising for Doge. Last thing we really pushed for was Dogecoin for McDonald's. And then after that, everyone just lost, kind of went silent. Can't be silent or else Doge will die. So as long as there's a community and as long as I think really the dev team should start allocating some funds towards legitimate Dogecoin advertising. We need some PR and some marketing. Word of mouth isn't just going to cut it, unfortunately. I mean, look at other crypto projects and things like, exchanges like FTX and crypto.com and how they're spending so much money on advertising to get crypto and their name out there. And look at how successful it's been for FTX and crypto.com and other projects. Sometimes you got to spend money if word of mouth isn't going to cut it. And I think that's where we're at. Now we'll finally end on Tesla. What are my thoughts on Tesla? I don't know if you guys remember in the stream from a couple, probably 6 months ago, my thoughts on Tesla were that we were going to peak at somewhere around 1,000 to this under 1,500 area. Because basically what I said, there's so much competition coming into the electric vehicle space that surely, even though Tesla is not only an electric vehicle company, they do AI, they have battery tech, charging stations that can be potentially universal and used, licensed by other companies, whatever. And they're just innovators in general. And, there's other sectors they can get into. Tesla, from basically here to here, has had little to no competition in its sector. It's the market leader. Now we've got companies like Rivian, like Lucid Air, and then also other companies that aren't just electric only. We've got big dogs like GM, Porsche, and all these other companies now getting into electric vehicles and experimenting with auto drive, self-driving, which means that the better that they get, the more that they start to learn from Tesla, borrow their technology, borrow their battery technology, their charging technology, their self-driving technology, learn from their mistakes, and get close enough, even if they don't surpass Tesla's current advancements. The moment they get close enough, which they're starting to now, especially with the pickup trucks and stuff and the performance cars, that's the moment where, in my opinion, Tesla starts to lose some market share, because now you've got to say okay, yeah, Tesla with no competition, there's no competition. Where else would I even invest my money if I want to invest in electric? But now there's all these other manufacturers to consider that are giving Tesla a run for their money. So in my opinion, Tesla's not worth that premium anymore when you've got equally good competition. And we're getting to a point where Tesla's getting equally good competition. So I think the pullbacks here are actually warranted. And that being said too, same thing I said about Bitcoin, look at the price action, look at the movement in comparison to the 200 EMA. We hadn't had a bear market, a Tesla bear market since 2019. Look at these bounces. There's no significant amount of days spent under the 200 EMA, even here. And there's also no significant movement under. We should be down here. There should be a clear flush, just like there's a clear separation here, clear bearish separation. This was overdue. All of this was overdue. Permanent Tesla bulls, no one considering the competition, parabolic price movement, people getting excited because of AI and everything, and also no bearish run for people to take profit. This was just overdue, in my opinion. I think Tesla is probably towards the bottom. I don't really see it going under like $500. So if I was looking to buy the dip on Tesla, I'd probably start considering that now. Obviously 620 would have been cool, but it really long-term Tesla, it doesn't matter. I think just like Microsoft, Apple, and any other market leading company, it's kind of the difference between, just Tesla and another car company. Other car companies, sometimes they just move sideways and they just kind of go with the flow, come out with a new model, cool model here or there. Tesla's not your typical, they're not like a car company. Tesla is a innovation company. They're constantly trying to push boundaries. Who knows? In the future, we might figure out an electric plane and then like an electric rocket, even though Elon kind of is leaning towards saying that might not be possible. But Tesla's going to keep innovating and making new products and leading the way in new areas. So like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and these other like market leading innovative companies that keep doing more in new things that other people just can't seem to like keep up with. And they make these new products and new services, and then everyone's like, oh, look at that, let's try it. That's the kind of company Tesla is. They're not a follower, they're a leader. So I do think that long term Tesla will continue to uptrend despite the pullback. I think just like those others, they don't trade sideways. They just keep going and going and going. Yeah, they have pullbacks and then they go. Kind of like Bitcoin. But yeah, healthy pullback. You see these lines I already had here. 600 is probably, the nearest bottom. Maybe we see, 500, which is the top here. But I wouldn't count on that. Another reason why I'm bullish on Tesla, the stock split that's coming up is going to make Tesla significantly cheaper to purchase. I don't remember if it was I think it was a 20-to-1 stock split. That means that each share of Tesla is going to be split into 20. So yeah, when you buy a Tesla share, you'll have 1/20th of the power of ownership, but retailers don't care about that. Retail investors, they care about buying things they like cheap. They're going to look at it and say, I can buy a Tesla share for $30. Yes, I'll buy it. I'll take 2. I'll take 5. I'll take 10. I could buy 10 Tesla shares for half the price of a current. I'll do that. Absolutely. They don't think about all the technicals like they should. So just that stock split in itself is going to drive the price significantly higher as well when it becomes more accessible to people that have smaller accounts. So that's bullish for Tesla. It's bullish that we're at the bottom, at a dip buying zone. It's bullish that there's a stock split coming. It's also bullish that, Tesla AI, Tesla Roadster, Tesla Model X Plaid is still, and S Plaid still like the fastest production cars, especially sedans that you can buy. Tesla's doing just fine. This is an overdue pullback, and this is a good buying spot. So that's my analysis on Tesla. And that's pretty much it. Also, people kind of got annoyed with Elon, so they sold. They got bearish because of something he did, and typical stuff. Tesla will definitely go back. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the stream for today. If I missed anything, I do apologize. Please let me know in the next stream what I missed, and we'll pick up from there. But we're at about 2.5 hours, so I'm going to wrap it up. As far as timing on that stream, I won't commit to anything, but I'll say either tomorrow or Friday looks probable, and we'll just see what there is to talk about and play it by ear. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Subscribe if you like this. Click that like button, of course. Check out links in the description to join the Discord group and follow me on Twitter. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.